Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It's Saturday night, December 15th, 2018. Welcome Smaulgld game changers to Saturday night speculation with Smaulgld. And the topic tonight is, will shocking Smaulgld headlines launch explosive channel growth? Done a little market research into my own channel. You know, this channel is about research and analysis, not hype and narrative pumping. And I'd like you guys to have a listen to what I've come up with, and I'll show you some screenshots and then let me know what you think, because I'm intending to do something not necessarily shocking, but something a little different in an effort to try to boost viewership, but I'm not looking to change any of the content or the way it's presented. So bear with me and I'll get to that. But first, let's take a look at what happened in the markets. Well, nothing happened in the markets when they're closed. But for those of you who don't know, the crypto markets never close. They're open 24/7 all around the world. And I'm giving you the Coinbase quotes right now. And Bitcoin at 31.89, down just a little bit, down 0.38%. Bitcoin Cash at 76.26, down 2.5%. Ethereum up 0.234% to 83.22. And Litecoin, the big winner, up nearly 2% at 23.50. And that is enough to push it ahead of the dreaded B Cash or Bitcoin Cash. And that was something Charlie predicted two things to happen this year. That it's possible that Litecoin, when it was at 300 when he sold, would drop into the 20s. It did. And that what he called the flappening, that Litecoin would surpass Bcash in market cap. And it did indeed do that yesterday and has held on to that position. And Ethereum Classic now at 3.58, down 1.66%. So not a lot going on in the crypto markets at all. But welcome everybody to Saturday night speculation with Smaulgld. I'm going to get some of your input. I'm going to show you some information. I'll let you know what I think. You'll let me know what you think. So let's get started. Uh-oh. We got a moron here.
Presenting the distinguished international news commentator and foreign correspondent,
Smaulgld. This has been an extraordinary week in world affairs.
No, I told Hillary Clinton that that's moronic.
That is indeed moronic. Whatever she said, I'm sure it was moronic according to Bernie. Okay, so I've gone through the channel. I get comments from you guys all the time. Some very nice, encouraging emails, direct messages on Twitter, and lots of encouragement. People telling me that they enjoy the show. They look forward to the show. They think it's unique and necessary, given that most of the coverage, both for the news and for gold and silver, is a lot of pumping narrative stories. And that what I try to do, and it seems that you guys get it, is I try to present somewhat of a balanced view and point out some of the emotional baiting that goes on. However, I am not immune to understanding that emotions do drive a large portion of what people do. We're not rational automatons, and a lot of people think that they act rationally, but in many instances, if you examine your own behavior, you realize you do a lot of things on emotion, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the nature of our beast. But I think sometimes we get overboard and you get manipulated when you have these narrative pumps out there telling you this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And I have an expression: if you want to be considered an expert, make predictions. People go nuts for, and some of the biggest channels on YouTube are full of people making ridiculous predictions. Doesn't matter that they'd never come true, like greatest wealth transfer in history to happen this decade. Didn't happen. All these stories, Comex default, Comex collapse, Shemitah, you know the whole set of predictions, and people want to hear that. Once you become vested in a narrative, you want to hear that the narrative is playing out. You've got it in the news cycle, QAnon, Q my mom, all that stuff. People want to hear that. The other thing people claim is that they want to be rational, but they click on clickbait. They see a headline, something is stunning, shocking, change the world, game over, game changer, must read, all those types of terms. You don't want to miss it. You feel, if I don't click on that, I might be missing out. But if you see something like India increases gold imports by 14% in March. You're like, okay, that is all I need to know. I don't need to click on that. There may be great information about India. There may be great information about the Indian silver market. But you see the headline, you don't feel compelled to click on it, and you pass. And generally, that's what I do. I generally, my headlines are just factual. Someone did something, and many people, not you, because you're here, and probably not here for the headline, because the people I see in the comments are the people that are always here. So I'm not sure that this headline dragged in a lot of people. But the type of headline that does drag in people, they're questions, they are must read, exclusive, things like that that people feel compelled to click on. And as long as the content that they hear is passable, or it caters to their belief system, or it caters to what they want to happen, then that channel is going to pick up subscribers, that channel is going to pick up a following, and they can shovel as much nonsense down your throats as long as they tell you what you want to hear. And then you become addicted to hearing that, so you seek out other channels and you go elsewhere. And it'd be very easy for me to set up a mirror silver or gold pumper channel. I know how to do it, but I don't want to do that. Also, I don't want to toil in obscurity and not have the same type. See, I don't have Google AdSense, and it'd be nice to have a larger audience that appreciates this, but you have to get the audience, and you don't get the audience by just stating facts in your headlines. So what I was thinking of doing, I'm going to show you some of the things that I discovered looking at the views of the YouTubes that I've put out over the past couple of months. And I was having a conversation with Mark, who is the guy, Mark, who writes the music for this channel. And he said, well, maybe it's because he notices that some of the view counts are down because you're on every night. And I thought, yeah, there's a point you can get saturated. Maybe that's it. But I thought, it's not like I go on every night. I have a different topic every night. I said, I don't think that's it, because the people that like the show would like it to be there when they're available. Not that you have to watch every night, but if you know I'm on every night at 7:30, I don't know how that harms viewership. It means that maybe you can watch every night. If you can't, you know you missed a night, you can come back, and I know people do that. So that I don't think was it. But what I have found, I'm going to show you, it's clear as mud to me. I mean, clear as this. Take a look at this. Here is just a snapshot of some recent Smaulgld view counts on the YouTube. And I've underlined them here. Okay. If you have the word collapse, crush the dollar, game over, look at that one. Warning, head to the bunkers. On that little page there, those are the ones that receive the most. It doesn't mean that those were the best. It just means that that attracted viewership that night. Then you see Kazakhstan adds record amount of gold to reserves. No one even knows what Kazakhstan is. So if Kazakhstan adds a lot of gold, that's probably the least important thing to people. Now, if I'd written something like, what is this obscure country doing to vault itself into the top 10, then people would be interested in it, because they would think they might be learning something new. But here, you see the headline, you learn what you learn, and okay, so what? Kazakhstan adds a lot of gold. Doesn't attract people the same way as dollar collapse and game over. Those words work, but look at this one. This tells it even more. Look up at the top left. It says, Indian gold imports rise 61% in September. Well, basically, that is all I need to know. You read that and you're saying, okay, I've got that information. There's absolutely no point in clicking on a 4-minute video to find out that Indian gold imports rise 61%. Now, go to the bottom under that column. Stunning changes in silver demand. Well, 3.6 thousand views. A massive increase from Indian gold imports rise 61% to a stunning change in silver demand. Now, look what I did with India to the right. Instead of saying Indian gold imports rise 61%, I could have written Indian silver imports surge in September like I did, and I only got 330 views. But when I asked, why does India need 180 to 250 million ounces of silver? Bingo, nearly 1,000 visits. Same content, just different packaging. Look at this one. Shocking silver. Shocking. Silver left off final U.S. list of strategic metals. 1.6 million. Now, this all seems obvious. But again, it's counter to how I think. I don't think these things are shocking. I don't think they're stunning. I do want to know why India imports all that. But it highlights that it is very, very important to catch the YouTube audience with some type of attention grabber. Even if what you're putting out there isn't really that worthy of attention grabbing. And as we talked about the other night, part of the reason for all this division that we have is that people constantly hear one side and they seek out one side, and they're very binary in their views because of this kind of stuff. They're for gold or against silver. It's something that my content doesn't lend itself to. But if I don't put out headlines like that, no one's going to listen to the content. Look at this one. Gold soars. Leads silver higher as stocks crumble. Well, bingo. Gold soars. Who doesn't want to hear that? And stocks crumble. I mean, that is a headline when basically all that happened was gold went up 10 bucks that day and stocks went down 350 points. Now, when you click on that, no matter how you tell that news, that's what happened. Gold wasn't soaring and stocks weren't crumbling. Gold went up a little bit and stocks went down a little bit. No, but if you say soars and crumble, well, you get that. Now, that video was 1 hour and 33 minutes. That meant that far more people stayed and listened to everything I was saying than would have stayed if they were listening to the 150 people who heard Indian gold imports rise 63%. Now, let's take a look at another one. This should seem obvious, but I guess I'm the dunce for not recognizing this and not promoting this because I know this is the case. It's almost like in the Midnight Run, it's like living in denial. I mean, I know that these are the type of headlines that get you the views. I want views, and yet I don't do them. Occasionally, I do them. Look at this one. The other big name. You mentioned JP Morgan in anything. JP Morgan is a click magnet. They've convinced and that's not because JP Morgan inherently is a click magnet. It's just because in the gold and silver communities, that name is anathema. You mentioned JP Morgan and they want to hear what vile thing JP Morgan has done or how much silver they're accumulating. JP Morgan is probably the biggest neutral draw word you can use to get silver and gold people. They see JP Morgan. Goldman Sachs is right behind it. Well, this one, increase in JP. If I just put big increase in Brink's COMEX Silver Vault, which was bigger than the JP Morgan increase, wouldn't matter. It's that it says JP Morgan, nearly 2,000 views on that one. Purely on the strength of JP Morgan. I'll give you another example. This is all in the last month. It's not like I had to dig around. I didn't even dig much deeper. Look at this one. 2 JP Morgan ones, almost back to back. JP Morgan's COMEX Vault sheds another 1.1 million ounces, leaves the JP Morgan Vault. Meaningless. They have 150 million ounces in the vault. So some went in, some went out, it went up a little bit, it went down a little bit. Who cares? No, what people care about is they're on this heightened sense of JP Morgan, because that is why I am buying silver, because JP Morgan has 800 million ounces of silver. They are shining the stacky. That is all I need to know. They're shining the stacky. They are stacking the shiny. Yes, indeed. All right. So, now you see what I see. A star. No. Anyway, you see what I see, and it should be obvious. So what I've decided to do is, well, here's one more. Another huge, huge word in the community. End of the petrodollar. You mentioned end of the petrodollar. Bingo star. 6.4 thousand views. Now, he actually did, and no one caught it. He did signal the end of the petrodollar. This was a unique observation that I had, but the headline wasn't unique in any way, shape, or form because they thought that it was the typical end of the petrodollar story, and people are addicted to hearing that story. China to crush the dollar. The BRICS are going to crush the dollar. They've had it with the dollar. End of dollar hegemony. End of the petrodollar. Then it's lights out for the dollar. Dollar's days are numbered. You can't get enough of that story. Every night if I put JP Morgan petrodollar, you would see thousands of views. Guaranteed. Wouldn't matter what I said. If I just got on there and rambled, JP Morgan is going to end the petrodollar. That is all you need to know. The dollar's days are numbered. People go nuts for that. Now, I don't want to get into that, and I don't. This was actual real analysis. It wasn't the typical end of the petrodollar nonsense. Okay? More. And then I'll stop boring you with it and tell you what I'm going to do, and you tell me what you think. Here's the last bit of headlines I found. Now, here's one that's very interesting. If you look at the two next to each other. Now, Bitcoin can be a big draw. If you're making prediction that Bitcoin is going to the moon, that Bitcoin's going to 20,000, Bitcoin's going to a zillion, Bitcoin's going to like kill a central banker just by being around. They're going to look at it. The powers of Bitcoin. People, they go absolutely bonkers for Bitcoin stories if it has to do with the price rising. But if you just mention Bitcoin, it doesn't have any drawing power whatsoever. And that's why it's 301 views. But look to the right again. Again, JP Morgan in the last month and a half. Anytime I put JP Morgan, boom. It's a repeat, actually. This time, they shed another 1.1 million ounces of silver. You can't get people fast enough to a channel mentioning end of the petrodollar, dollar collapse, game over, JP Morgan, or stunning silver. That's what works. Now, a very important question, and between us, the video on the left was far more informative about what stablecoins are and what they mean and who's investing in them and what it actually means going forward. This is nonsense information. It doesn't matter that JP Morgan added or subtract any silver from their COMEX vault. It matters, but it doesn't really matter. It's not a game changer. It doesn't change anything. Stablecoins actually are a game changer. Now, had I put these new cryptos are a game changer, and no one would know what I was talking about, they'd want to find out, what are these new cryptos that are a game changer, or they're revolutionizing the space, or they're set to shock the world? Well, then that video would have received probably 1,500, 2,000 views, because people would want to know, what is this game-changing cryptocurrency that no one knows about? That's the other thing, the secret history of stablecoins. Maybe that might have worked. So here's what I'm going to do, and you tell me what you think. And again, the reason I chose to do this on Saturday night, the only people that probably show up on Saturday night are the people that normally show up. So you're getting the inside scoop here. It's not like I'm being disingenuous. But here's what I was thinking of doing. Something give or take. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to do exactly what I'm doing. The exact same content. But I am going to put in what I might consider, and so might you, ridiculous headlines designed to get people there. Now, when they get there, it's not like I'm going to say Donald Trump to be impeached, and then I talk about silver. No, if I think there's an opportunity for Donald Trump to be impeached, I'll write something like bombshell. New information may lead to Trump impeachment. And if I think it won't, I'll say a lot of people think it will, and I'll give all the reasons why it won't. But I'm going to put those types of headlines because I don't think they detract from the content whatsoever. And I was thinking something like this. What do you think of that? Smaulgld. Come for the headlines, stay for the analysis. So that's my plan, unless I get a large amount of pushback from people saying, you know, don't sell out. I don't think I am. I think I'm attracting viewers, and then they're going to get the real thing. They're not going to get a pump story. They're not going to get some ridiculous narrative. They're going to get the full facts. So come for the headlines, stay for the analysis. What do you guys think? I'm going to go back now and check out what you guys are saying in the comments. Now, before I even look, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5. Every comment here is someone I already know. There's not one person on this thread that hasn't been here multiple times. Okay. Well, let's take a look. De La Velle is here. Crypto Shrugged Author is here. Smaulgld is a source for Q, so I guess I could kick off anything. Prashanti Girl is here. Pablo Pina, I'm here for some silver pumping and horse pumping. Horses are transportation, period. Horses have been transportation for 5,000 years. Miser is here. Crypto Shrugged Author. He's enjoying an Irish coffee from his Smaulgld mug in the garden, looking over the city of San Cristobal tonight. Life is good if I don't check my crypto balances. All right? Well, maybe in a year or two you check them. They may be a little different. All right, let's see. Prashanti Girl is working. She's cleaning windows, loves listening every day. Well, thank you. Pablo Pina. Lewis. It's funny. Pablo Pina, I would guess, is maybe even a Spanish speaker, and he calls me Lewis, which is my name. And then non-Spanish speakers tend to call me Luis, which is fine too. It's just a derivation. You want to call me Luigi, that's fine. Ludwig, plenty of names, or Louis. Lewis, I'm here to listen to your grounded, introspective financial look. Look, this is a game changer channel, a funny one too. And Prashanti Girl agrees. Scott Wardell, I'm 8 for 8. Title it what you will. Okay. Maybe the algos promote doom porn, says Mate. That's possible. I think a lot of it has to do with if you get a lot of views on your channel or on a video, then you show up in the recommendeds. And here's the thing. If I am not in line with 15 other channels' headlines, not necessarily the content, they're not going to recommend me. So I'm not going to, you know, for example, all your popular Doom channels, when they finish watching a video on those channels, the right-hand column isn't going to have my videos there as a recommended thing to watch. Why? Because my headlines aren't what do you do in the collapse? Collapse imminent. Run to the bunk. See, when I put run to the bunkers, then I will show up. And that's the only way I can get that YouTube algo to work in my favor. Because if I just put Russia ads, Russia's going to report this month. And I'll have a doozy of a headline about Putin doing something. Why is he stacking? Does he know what's coming? You know, when people say things like World War III is coming because someone moved gold from one vault to the other, that's the kind of stuff that gets people interested. Now, I'm not going to stoop to making up stories. I'm going to make the same analysis, but I'm going to change the headlines. All right, let's see. De La Velle. When I can't listen live, I always listen to the recorded video the next day. This is a great channel. Well, thank you. Scott Wardell. What you did in legal analysis in the mystery of the 302 is illustrative. Mueller's in trouble, very probable. And it's 183 views, and that's pure gold. Exactly. Now, that take me a lot of time. Not necessarily, I mean, it didn't take me a lot of time in research because I know this stuff already, so all I have to do is read it and then analyze it. But it still takes a couple of hours, and you would think that that is something that people would really want to know about, is what exactly is happening. And most of the channels just pull out a quote from one of the documents, and then they say Mueller is doomed. Now, what I should have done, instead of putting the case of the missing 302, I should have said, shocking revelation, Mueller's investigation set to collapse. And I'm going to do that next time because people will listen to it. Then I'm not going to go into hyperbole. I'm going to explain. I just retitled. In fact, I was talking to someone. They say, you just retitle all your videos. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that. I'll just, going forward, I will make sure that each video has a certain level of hyperbole because people want the pump. They want to see some type of thing that interests them. Now, obviously, as Scott is pointing out, if somebody really was interested in analysis and they heard my analysis, they said, well, that's pretty good. But they're never going to hear it because it doesn't say Mueller is doomed and Flynn is set to go to jail or Trump's set to go down. You need to put that stuff in there. I'm going to put it in there. Come for the headlines, stay for the analysis. Pablo Pina, is it just me or someone else see Lewis' tone a little bothered today? It's hard to see a tone, Pablo. I would assure you that my tone, if you could see it, is pretty much the same excited state it's always in. Miser, living the mug life here. Bait the sheep like the pumpers. It won't hurt them. That's kind of my view. De La Velle, this channel is only for those who can handle the truth. And you know, I don't, I'm not even really a, like, what's the word? Some people are doomers, and it's not the truth. It's interesting. It's not the truth, but that's what they want to hear. I think it's more not that it's the truth unvarnished, and it's like, I can't bear it because it would mean it's not that I'm presenting a existential, the world sucks view. In fact, I'm actually, in many instances, that's what the doomers do. That they can't handle it. It's that they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth only because, not because it's too painful, because it's like, oh my God, we're all going to die. And that's not, I don't talk about that kind of stuff. What I say is a lot of the BS that you hear is BS. That's the truth. And it's just that people have become accustomed to wanting to believe it. That's what they don't want to hear. But if I tell you silver is not going to skyrocket, or I give you information that maybe it's not, there's nothing really wrong with that. It's not like, well, now your life is over. The only reason you would think that is if somehow you've tied your life into silver, or you've tied your life into QAnon, or you've tied your life onto gold. In other words, once you've drunk so much of the Kool-Aid that you believe the narrative so much, whatever it is, it could be a harmless thing like silver set to skyrocket. You actually believe that, or central banks are going to collapse, and I say, well, maybe they won't. You don't want to hear that. That's the truth. But it's not the worst thing in the world, except if you actually believe the best thing in the world is silver stacking. Or do you think the best thing in the world is Q being vindicated? That's the only issue, and I think that's a problem when people get to that level of interest in a narrative. You know, you guys, you could take a joke with the mugs. You don't really believe that you should be stacking mugs hand over fist. You buy a mug. You don't buy 20 of them. Because if you really were out of your minds into the narrative, I'd be getting more orders. I get a lot of them, but it's from one individual. I don't get people ordering thousands of mugs and telling me they're moving to Nicaragua with their mugs. But you get people that follow the silver story, they actually do stuff like that. They move to the woods with their mugs. You know, they're buying mugs for all their family. Now, if you guys did, it wouldn't be a sign of believing in narrative. If you bought mugs for family and friends, go ahead, have at it. I know why you would do it. It wouldn't be so they would be preparing themselves for the collapse so that they'd have mugs to put their mountain house in. But so feel free to buy mugs. I think narratives are fine. It's how you take them. If you get so immersed in them. And then the problem is, not only do you hear it on one channel, you hear it on 20 channels. You see it in the comments. And then when someone like me comes along and says, maybe JP Morgan doesn't have 800 million ounces of silver, there's no proof for that. Shill, disinformation agent, working for the bankers. Silver is set to skyrocket. You should know better. Yeah, okay. Living the mug life here. All right. Perhaps they actually learn here than the pumper channel, so bait them. Oh, okay, so far it's pot. That's what I want to do. Come for the headline, stay for the analysis. Agree with Miser, a little clickbait never hurt their tiny minds. Could help a little bit. Yep. Keywords, that's what gets the most clicks, says Pablo Pina. Google marketing. Sell more mugs, says De La Ville. Tell them JP Morgan are stacking mugs. We actually have that line in the 815 or 18 reasons to buy and hoard mugs. I say there are mugs at the offices of JP Morgan. And they have mugs at the offices of central banks. Okay, what else we got? By the way, Bell Nem's recent video is very interesting. I saw it, but I didn't see it. I did see it for real dollar fans and insurance holders all. You guys are saying hello, good peoples. Poppy stuff is here. All right. Do it. We want your channel to grow, says Matty D. Okay. Bait them to enlighten them the only way. All right, let's see. What else we got? I got a lot more comments here. You need a Q story like Sal. Greetings, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Yeah, I listened to that. I might have to have a word with Mr. Sal. We have a few conversations here and there. I wasn't quite sure what it sounded like. He was thinking. I don't understand this latest Q thing with the gold. If you guys want to know what I think about the gold at Fort Knox, I did do one, and it did get almost 1,000 views because it says something like, is there gold at Fort Knox? And there is a very, 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 very common view amongst 99% of gold people is there is no gold at Fort Knox. That is a shell game, and they will never have gold at Fort Knox because China has all the gold and the United States has none. And I like to point out that if gold was important to have, the United States would have it. And I point out how much gold they have and how easy it would be to acquire 4,000 tons of gold to put into Fort Knox. It would cost them, I don't know, it would cost $160 billion. Like the United States, if it was the most important thing, and it would be the game over and game changer if there was no gold in Fort Knox, that they somehow couldn't get 4,000 tons of gold in there again. Like, why would it even be gone from there? That's not the point. Let's say it was gone. Biggest scandal in history. Well, they can easily get it back. India adds 1,000 tons of gold, and the gold price doesn't move an inch. The United States mines a couple hundred tons of gold a year. They make it sound like the gold in Fort Knox is worth trillions. It's not. It's worth $160, $200 billion, less than a month of QE. People don't stop and think about it. They just say, oh, they haven't audited, and that means, no, it doesn't mean anything. It means they don't care to audit it. There's no point in auditing it. The dollar isn't based on gold. Liar, shill, disinformation agent. You didn't see Jim Rickard's recent video. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. All right. De La Ville says, important. Everyone hits the like button every time. That is important. I didn't realize that's important. Actually, if you listen and you haven't subscribed, it doesn't hurt you to subscribe, but it does help the channel. I didn't realize that either. All right, what else do we got here? Oh, we got a lot of comments here. Bait and switch, good way to go. How about come for the mug, stay for the coffee? Well, that's a good one. I like that. I do like that very much. Come for the mug, stay for the coffee. Psychics are predicting crypto now. Yes, we're in the top 1%. Someone put an article and took it away. GS, heard more COMEX delivery shortage from Bill. Yeah. If you go back, I got kicked off of Greg Hunter's comment section. And I even emailed about it. He just booted me. I told him, because Halter trots out the COMEX default story every couple of years. And the last time he tried it, just type in Bill Halter COMEX default, and you'll see like 2015, 2017, COMEX default imminent. And I told him, I said, it's not going to happen. And I wrote a long article about, you can Google it, why COMEX won't default. Explains every reason, top down, why it's not going to default. I'm not going to go through the reasons. And I sent it to Greg, and he's like, not one of your better pieces of work. I'm like, okay. So COMEX is going to default. And they never... And when they come back and these predictions haven't happened, they don't ask them. So what happened to the COMEX default? They just hope it goes away, and then they bring it back 2 years later. That COMEX default story has been around for at least 16, 17 years. Someone actually did a video on it, and it goes on with some goofy music. It just shows all the headlines. So many people have promoted that, and when people forget about it, they bring it up again. Dave is the master of exaggerated headlines. But the thing about Dave is very good, though. If you listen to his analysis, it's similar to what I want to do. He puts out the headline, but he doesn't get on there and rant and rave and make no sense. He actually makes a lot of sense on a lot of stuff. So David, the reason he has that many subscribers is he actually produces the content. He puts the nice music in the front, and he goes through, and he's up to date. So his channel is deserving of the viewership, but again, the headlines they're the key. Joey A, hi Lewis, my first live chat, excellent idea for your heading. Ann Holland, I come because I think you're more logical and real. If you pump mugs, you state it. It's pretty obvious, but again, a lot of these people pump and it's not obvious. They think they're getting the truth. Oh yeah, like to hear it. Say it again. Have him back on, because he's going to predict higher prices again. He's going to predict the collapse again. Get him back on. Oh, so proud of what you do. You're really helping us out. I say that all the time. I go, how is he helping you out? He's been telling you the world's going to collapse for 25 years. He's telling you gold's going to skyrocket for 50 years. Silver's going to skyrocket. This is going to happen. That Deutsche Bank, derivatives, whatever it is. These people tell you the same story, and you're like, thanks. Thanks for what you do. What do? You tell them stuff. You make predictions, and they don't come true. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Salavi Metals. I don't even look at titles anymore, just go direct to my keepers. Alright, follow the game changer plan, Lewis. Google is leading mainstream media shock, lies, exaggeration, and headlines. Yep. Ann Hoffman. I'm invested in metals and cryptos and want to know what is going on with the politics, but I'm tired of the pump. Well, everything is a pump. Because the politics is up. The QAnon is a huge pump. Everything is, they're going down, the other side's going down, they're all going to Gitmo. There's going to be military tribunal trials. It's going to be the Great Awakening. And generally all this stuff is somewhere in between. Happens a little bit. You know, maybe someone gets indicted. That's about it. These big game changers, you realize that game changers are very, very rare. And when people talk about game changers all the time, it's a joke. It's like crying wolf. There's very, very few game-changing moments. You know, some stupid company says that they're issuing a product and it's a game changer. No, it's not. You're issuing a product and you hope you can sell it. Pablo Pino, always learn something here. Okay, maybe handle the truth means you arrive at a point where you find it value. Yes. Yes, and a lot of people don't want to be talked out of their narratives. They want to, you're right, and they just want to hear what they want to hear. What? And then what they do is, I heard somebody arguing, you're the only one who says that. I'm like, okay, so I must be wrong. I'm the only one who says it. Galileo is the only one who said that, and I'm not comparing myself to being a genius or anything, but Galileo said that, was the only one that was saying that the earth revolved around the sun. Everybody else was saying that everything revolved around the earth. That doesn't make you right or wrong because no one else says it, especially when you have to look at most of these pumpers are either selling metals themselves, have a subscription product, or their entire audience is so large because that's what they preach all the time. So they can't change that. DW, thanks for the balanced input. Nothing wrong with silver not skyrocketing, but it's disappointing since I have a bunch. That's right. I actually think it's a form of abuse. I keep saying, oh, this time when JP Morgan finally lets... Why? First of all, you haven't proven that they have 800 million ounces of silver, but why are they all of a sudden going to just let it ride? And I don't understand that. But there's no point in getting into it because it's always imminent and it never happens. And the reason it has to be imminent is so you listen, so you must tune in, must listen, must read important information, set to skyrocket. How many times are you going to listen to the boy that cried wolf? Oh, they're not wrong, they're just early. You know, the other thing is unsustainable at some point, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, how about I make a prediction? At some point, everyone on this list is going to die. You're all unsustainable. How does that make you feel? Not good. And I don't go around saying that, but there is an element there's a temporal element in making predictions. You're not just early if you predict something. I can predict the United States won't be here in 300 years. I won't be here to prove it, but I'm pretty confident it won't be. Not in its current form. What does that mean? Am I a genius because I can predict that? No. A lot of things are going to happen. It's like the WebBot. Oh, there was a hurricane. It was a WebBot hit. Yeah, because we never have hurricanes. Hard to predict that. I want it to go down more. I think it will. Okay. Shouldn't you be stacking mugs? Absolutely, Pablo. You should always stack the mugs. Follow the plan, says Miser. Mugs do make great Christmas gifts. In fact, see, now I'm going to go into pump mode. I'm going to tell you I make $2 a mug. And I'm going to demand that you buy mugs or your life is going to be ruined and you're going to be left out and everyone else is going to have a mug and you're not going to have a mug and you're going to be screwed unless you have a mug. I would say buy the most expensive mug that you can, buy multiple mugs, buy the espresso mug, buy the classic mug, buy the super classic mug, donate to Smaulgld because, oh, if I don't get money, then I'm going to turn my channel off and that'll show you. I hear some of these people, they complain, I'm not getting enough money, and if I don't get any money, I'm going to close down. You know what to do. It's the right thing to do. You're all a bunch of freeloaders. How dare you listen to my channel and not send me millions of dollars? And all right, but there you go. There's your mugs right there. Just go to smaulgld.com. You can buy them. If you don't buy them, you're not allowed to listen anymore. If you're not a paid, you can't listen anymore. You know, no one's making anyone go on YouTube to make videos. If I found this to be unprofitable, and it's not profitable, but unprofitable in that I didn't get anything out of it, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't come on here and say, hey, I'm doing you a favor. You got to send me money or I'm not going to do you a favor anymore. No one asked me to do you a favor. Let's see. What else do we got? Red Pill. Roger is here. Red Pill Truthers. There we go. Collapse. Collapse. Yeah, there will one day be a collapse. Everything is unsustainable. There is no genius in that whatsoever. Everything is unsustainable. Every form of human life, every market, every country, every currency. I think people tell me, you don't understand your history. All fiat currencies die. I'm like, so do you. So now we're even. Did you teach me anything by telling me that? They think they learn something when they hear that. But only gold is money. Okay. Only horses are transportation. Okay. David Q, money, GPS. Yeah, you came here for the truth. I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the truth. Cue my mug. There's a good one. I'm going to give you the truth. All right. Lynette Zhang waves the papers in front of the screen. And it was, oh, yeah, it's on the chart. Something's happening. It's on the paper. I remember the old, the whole AC chain. They were going to issue SDRs. It's so full. And why aren't Americans allowed to buy this new global currency that was predicted by the economist? Because U.S. security laws would impact the offering. That's why they don't allow Americans to buy into international ICOs. And now we're finding out, of course, why. Because they said just about every ICO that was issued over the past year was an unregistered illegal ICO. It's got nothing to do with the IMF going to enslave humanity by tokenizing tea. Oh, but what about the guy in the ad running through a pyramid? That's the Illuminati. And then the economist cover. And then the SDR, because SDRs are the global currency. And you just don't understand how the IMF works. I'm like, no, I read the charter. And I know the voting rights. And I know how SDRs are issued. That doesn't matter. They saw it on Dabu and Wabu and all these other channels telling you it's all over. You haven't heard a word in 2 years about AC Chain. Because it's... They're not doing anything. It's just a silly IPO out of China. Lewis, I do watch other channels lately. Notice many have been using your game changer lately. Yes. Pablo, Trump is going to say it. Actually, Trump did say it. No, I know what he did. No, he didn't say it. He quoted Sun Tzu. That's the other one they like to do. China's playing the long game. Sun Tzu. Everything China does, even if it's bad, they turn it into a good thing. It's because Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu. Silver doctors. Oh my goodness. It's a vast network of disinformation pumpers who follow the religion of the red pill. Spot on, Roger. It says Scott Wardell. So when the party crashes come, we're waiting to make $1 million tomorrow. We got your back. Well, thank you. Thank you, Scott. And I'm unsustainable. I intend to change into another form after I collapse. And that's the next headline. Ann Holloman to collapse. And then she's going to soar. Ann Holloman set to skyrocket. I have no idea. She burst onto the scene, Roger. I have no idea. What is your estimate as to the total above ground identifiable and open to purchase gold and silver? I've tried to look at this. There's far more silver available to buy than the silver pumpers will ever admit. Because if there wasn't, it wouldn't be $14 an ounce. Oh, but a manipulation, COMEX. Yeah, and when's the last time you heard of anyone not being able to buy an ounce of silver, not being able to produce a solar panel, not being able to make electronics because of a lack of silver? Oh, it's just about there. It's silver shortage. And when they realize there's no silver, it's going extinct. Well, then you'll see $100, $300, $500 silver. Yes, of course they will. People gravitate to what they want to hear. That they do. My bro-in-law said that too. People believe what they want. Yep. And you know what? Give the people what they want. They want headlines. They could say they want to be rational. They can say they want to be logical. And that won't stop them from clicking on these types of headlines. And maybe they might enjoy the show. After all, this isn't truth either. This is entertainment. It may be observational entertainment, but it's still entertainment. Because I'm not saying anything that's game-changing. In some respects, I'm just reflecting your own thoughts, whether you had them or didn't want to think about them. But I don't think I'm saying anything that is original, other than pointing out what the actual reality may be in many circumstances before you got hooked on a narrative. All right, everyone. Well, one thing you guys should be doing, if you're not doing, is enjoying your Saturday night. And you should also be putting in your Smaulgld mug orders, or supporting Smaulgld by check, or sending Bitcoin and Litecoin. You know what to do. You know what to do. It's all about sending me money. It's all about buying mugs. So thank you again, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow night. But thanks for your input, and remember, come for the headlines and stay for the analysis. Have a good night. How long do I see the US dollar lasting? Longer than any other fiat currency. Sure. Say whatever you want. You can, if you can wrap up an elephant and send it, I'll take it. I'll try to find to sell it. Yes, you can, but you don't have to. Don't. I'm kidding when I say it. It's very kind, but yes, you can. You can sell small items in the mail, and if you do, I'll do an unboxing like Salivate Metal did and put it on the screen. But you don't have to. Buenas noches.